Hello, my name is Gabriel from GabakUSA. In this video, we're going to talk about cryptocurrency. So in this case, we are going to compare the differences between cryptocurrency, fiat currency. Just in case if you don't know what is fiat currency, is the dollar, the euro, the peso, whatever you have in your country, whatever you are using in your country. And here we have the gold. So the gold is the one that the nature provides. So in this case, we have three types of money. One is people's money. So this is made for the cryptocurrency. So in this case, Bitcoin. So that is the main one, and after that everything else is altcoin, at least for now. And later on we have the US dollar, or it could be the euro, or whatever currency that you have in your country, and this is the government money. So this money is only made by the government, and they don't want any competition. Here this kind of currency is made by the people and for the people. So here we have the gold that is made by God and for the people as well. So if you want, you can read Haggai 2:8. It says the silver and the gold is mine and the silver is too. So and now we are going to talk about a little bit about the main differences between these three types of currency, so that way you will know. So as you know, the currency itself is a medium to store value. So what it means that you can save. I mean, when you work, let's say that maybe you're a carpenter or a computer technician or whatever else, and then you go, let's say you go and make a chair because you're a carpenter. So they are going to pay you in X currency, whatever of the three that I just said, and that currency should hold a value forever in theory if you have gold usually. And if you have a real money, no fiat money, the fiat money is the one that is not backed by anything, just is the government says, okay, this is the bill and this paper worth something. But in the past it wasn't like that. So it used to be backed by gold. So that way if you search for the charts on Google and everything else, you will see that when the money, like in the 1930s, it was backed by gold. Usually the value, the inflation was very low or nothing, and the value was constant. But when for instance the US government decide to get rid of the gold, so you will see that the inflation was going up and up and up, and it keeps rising all the time because the money is it's not money anymore. It's not sound money as before. It's fiat. So if you don't know what is fiat means let it be done, and that's it. So there is nothing that is backing up the currency. So the other thing of the money is transfer value. So you have transfer value and you have the speed. So in this case, for instance, with the cryptocurrency, the good thing is that it's fast, and usually you don't have to pay a lot of fees. The fees usually are little, at least now with the Lightning network that is going to be applied in the network, on the Bitcoin network very soon. Usually the transaction fee should be very low or almost nothing, and if you use mostly all the altcoins, usually the transfer fee is very low, so usually that is good. With the fiat currency, with the paper, well, the paper is the paper. If you're in front of the person, great. If you cannot be in front of the person, that would be an issue, and then you have to find another solution. So in this case, you have to find a bank or use another, like PayPal or maybe credit card or whatever, in order to transfer the money. But even though if you do that, yes, the other person will see some numbers, but they don't have the money itself. I mean, they don't have the paper. So that is one thing. And another thing that you keep in mind, if you are going to use gold, well, surely there is a lot of regulation for that. And if you don't have the person in front of you, it will be harder. So that is the thing. So the speed, if you have to transfer, even let's say that you have a business or something like that, you will see that even when someone pay you with a credit card or something like that, it will take like 3 days. And if you're using a bank to do like a wire transfer, it will cost you maybe like $20. Or if you're going to do like a bank transfer, it may take like 3-5 days. So in this case, is the key. At least it's very fast, independent of the currency that you're using, the cryptocurrency in this case. So, and in this case, that is how we use the money, or that is how we should use it. And the limit, a limited amount. So with this, at least with the BTC, in this case is called Bitcoin, is going to be 21 millions of coins, and after that, that's it. There is no more. So in this, if you compare it with the crypto, with the fiat currency, in this case, you know, the US dollar or the euro, or you know, any government, they will start printing as much money as they want. So the more money in circulation, the value will decrease. That doesn't happen usually with the cryptocurrency, at least with the main one, in this case BTC. With the gold, well, you know, gold is gold. There is certain amount of gold in the whole planet, and it's very limited. So that is why it keeps the value. And there is no way, at least for now, to make more gold like nothing. I mean, like water. If you find gold in some place as much as water on the planet, usually, I mean, the value of the gold will disappear. So everything that it has some kind of limit, or it will keep the value, at least with this kind of currencies. Otherwise, it will be worthless. So, okay, now we are going to talk about the centralization. So in this case, okay, this one is very decentralized. So there is nodes everywhere, and there is no just one entity that handles and mint all the money and everything else. So in this case, that is not the case. In this case, yes, with fiat money, you know, you have one government, they mint money, and they handle everything, and they have the banks that they do their thing, and that's it. So if someone wants to hack a bank, you know, and that bank, they have tons and tons, or a lot, in this case, a lot of accounts. They can get all the money in, I mean, at once. In this case, with the cryptocurrency, you know, everyone have their own account in their pocket, and that's it. So if you have a cell phone, let's say, I recommend use Shax, at least for hot wallet. Is very useful. At least you keep the money that you're comfortable using every day. So if you want something more secure, you have to use some offline wallet, but we are going to talk surely in another video about that. But in this case, we will keep going. So in this case, with gold, kind of the same thing. Usually it's regulated by the government, and that's it. So in the next point, decentralized. Okay, like I mentioned before, the cryptocurrency, in this case a Bitcoin or whatever other coin that you want to use, any other altcoin. So you have Bitcoin is the main one, altcoin is whatever else. So in this case, this is the main one. So most of the altcoins and the Bitcoin itself is decentralized, like I mentioned before. So it will not be, I mean, it does not rely in just one entity, like in this case a bank. So it's spread all around the world. So with the fiat currency, it's just the opposite. It's one government, the banks, and that's it. Basically, that is how they keep everything. And with the gold, you know, kind of the same thing. Counterfeit or fake money. So yeah, with this there is no chance, not even a chance that you can get a fake Bitcoin. There is no possibility with that. With this, you have to see the bill. You have to make sure there are a few machines that will tell you if the bill is good or not. It happens all over the world, people trying to make fake money. And with the gold, well, the gold is more difficult. I mean, if someone doesn't know how the gold looks like, yeah, they may get scammed, but other than that, is going to be more difficult to get the fake gold. So it's almost impossible, at least for now. We have the owned by PC or / people in this case. So this case is maybe the more interesting point. And in this case, so the good thing with the cryptocurrency is when you go to the bank and you want an account, the account has to be under your name, okay, or maybe under the company's name. But always there is someone who is tied to that account. So usually it's a person that is tied to that account. It's not like you can make an account for X entity and that's it. And there is nobody tied to that account. So it's someone, always there is some kind of administrative person or whatever, the owner of the company or shareholder or whatever. Someone has the controls over that account. So usually when you create an account, even if it is under the LLC or whatever else, someone has to go and sign the paperwork. That is what I'm trying to say with this. In this case, is only, I mean, anybody can own the crypto, this type of currency. So it could be humans, it could be machines. It doesn't matter. If you have a cell phone, for instance, you install this Shax wallet that I was saying is JAXX, and that's it. And there is no sign up or anything like that. You just download the software and it's ready to go. So it's ready to use. So let's say, for instance, in the future when we have Skynet all over the world, and then if Skynet needs to buy parts to make the Terminators or whatever, and if they have the cryptocurrency, yeah, no problem. They don't have to go to the bank, sign paperwork or anything like that. They can just start doing whatever they want. If they want to buy parts, like I mentioned before, services, whatever, they can do it with no restriction. In this case, if you have the fiat currency, okay, like I mentioned before, you need a bank. Usually, even if you give a pile of money to a robot or something like that, it would be difficult because the money have to travel somewhere, so it will be kind of difficult at that moment. And with the gold is the same thing. So what I'm trying to say with this, even if you are thinking, well, this is a joke or not, well, okay, beside the joke, I know another things, it may be a joke today, maybe in 50 years it might be something completely normal. So if you are thinking, well, now with the AI or the artificial intelligence, so maybe in the future a computer will be able to manage the whole company, and people are not going to be required in that company. Let's say, for instance, you have Amazon. If you see some of their videos on YouTube and other things, they have robots moving packages from one place to another one in the warehouse and other things. And maybe when more robots and more artificial intelligence, people are not going to be needed anymore. So with this, it's a solution until maybe the government they change the laws and other things, and then the computer or robot can own a bank account, and they will not have this kind of issue. But that is always something that you have to keep in mind. Well, usually gold and fiat It has to be owned by a person. It cannot be owned by a computer, at least for now. The next point, it will be anonymity. So if you are thinking about sending things anonymous, okay, maybe the thief, the amateur thief, they may think, well, we are going to steal Bitcoin. Yeah, well, Bitcoin, you know, everything is in the blockchain. So every transaction you can know where it goes in each step. The thing with this is not completely anonymous. Even if you open up the app, like I mentioned before, with the wallet, and you are thinking, well, you don't have to sign up or anything like that. Let's say like a robber or a bad guy is stealing money from another person. So let's say that is doing that, and then they get a huge amount of money, and by the time that they want to say, okay, maybe I'll try to change this cryptocurrency with the money, with the fiat currency, and they will say, okay, I'll do that. And when they go to some, for instance, CoinBase or Gemini or maybe any other exchange, and they want to exchange that crypto for something else, that account will have some kind of ID and everything else. So if they try to, you know, convert a lot of money into fiat, they may get caught very easily, because you can track everything. So even if person A send money to person B and person B to person C, and one of those person try to cash some money out, you can see all those transactions, and you may say, okay, this person who did that transaction, you may say, okay, you will go to that person and say, hey, I think the person before you is a robber or whatever. How do you know this person? And then they may track you. So I think if you know the more expert delinquents or robbers, they will use maybe Monero or something else, that those cryptocurrency usually they have better privacy, and it will be more difficult to track them. So that is one thing. With fiat, well, if you have to be in front of someone in order to send to pay, so that person will see you. You have no anonymity in this case. With the gold, the same thing. Or if you go to the bank and you send money from one place to another one, or if you use Western Union or whatever else, it will be the same thing. So your name will be in all those transactions. So the next point will be not limited by age. So maybe depending on the country where you are, but if you are 15 or if you are 10 years old, and if you want to have a bank account, you will say, I cannot have it. Why not? Okay, usually there is limited by the law, so the government will not allow you know, underage young people to have their accounts with crypto. You know, you can be 5 years old, 10 years old, 15 years old, whatever, and you have your bank account in the pocket on your hand. I mean, in the pocket of your pants, if you want to. So in your cell phone you can have everything, and that is cool. One thing, I mean, surely there might be a very good reason why underage people cannot, you know, get a bank account, but at least if when the kid is very little and they can have their own bank account and all the things, you know, they can start learning about money and all the things, and how to avoid being in debt and all the things. So I think it's a good thing. But with the pass of time, I mean, over time, surely the crypto will start growing. More people will start using it, and the more people use it, the fiat will be used maybe less, surely, and maybe will be one day where when the bank goes to this new generation asking, hey, do you want a bank account? And the new kid will say, why do I need you? I mean, will I be paying some kind of fee every time I have to send money, or just for keep the bank account you have to keep to pay with this? Is 100% free. So you download your wallet and that's it once. And with Go, well, you have to keep some place where you can storage, and usually underage people usually they cannot. I mean, it depends on the country, I guess. They cannot own any of that, except if their parents say, "Okay, here you have it." It works. The next will be it works 24/7. So 24/7. You just wake up Sunday, Saturday, whatever the hour you want. You say, okay, I'm going to send money to my friend, family, whatever. Or you want to buy maybe something online, you can do it anytime, no problem. With Fiat, well, if you don't use a bank, if you don't use a credit card, if you don't use something else, you're going to be limited. With the Gold, of course, it will be almost the same story. And also with the bank, if you're going to do like a bank transfer or something like that, at least in US, it's free. If you use a bank transfer, if you use a wire transfer, you have to pay like $20 for each transaction. Usually it takes the bank transfer, it will take like 3 or 5 days, so it's slow. With this, it's fast. And now with the Lightning Network that I was saying that they are trying to implement, it will be seconds. So that is one of the good things. Okay, the next one is no fees. So no fees in the cryptocurrency. At least you can get any wallet and you can keep the crypto as long as you want, and there is no any fee. I mean, you're going to keep it forever. So that is a good thing. With the fiat, if you go to the bank, you have to pay, like I mentioned before. With the Gold, except if you have it in your home, you will have to pay somewhere to keep it. So those are the things. Here you have the control, power, and value. So in this case, if you're thinking, well, control, what do you mean with control? Well, the government takes control of the people, or try to control the people some way. So you will see in the story that the government say, okay, you cannot have more gold in your you cannot use more gold, we are going to give you paper instead, and then we do some kind of devaluation and other things, and you will be losing money. And also they will say, well, if you're traveling to another country, you can travel with X amount of dollars, you cannot travel with more. If you travel with more, you have to start doing more paperwork and other things. So with crypto, you don't have to do any of that. With this, yes, and with Gold, surely what I have read at least is if you go to another country with Gold or something like that, it will be very painful. So it will be difficult, at least, to get into a country with Gold and other things. So that would be worse. Also, if, let's say, for instance, Venezuela or Argentina or maybe another country, for instance, usually the third world country, they will tell you, well, you can do this with the money, you cannot do that. So for instance, like I mentioned before, with Venezuela or Argentina, if you, let's say that you want to send money to a friend that is in another country, the government will say, no, you cannot do that. Or if you do, we will give you a special right. So if let's say that you have to send X amount of dollars, maybe if you have to send it outside of the country, you have to pay taxes, or they will give you like a worse rate, and then in that time will not be convenience. Or in this case, like Venezuela, they will say, no, you cannot send money outside of the country, and that's it, and you're doomed in that case. Or maybe even if you want to send money inside of the country or something like that, you may have some kind of restriction of if the government say, I think you are against the government, no, we will freeze your account. So there is you don't have any power of your money, because like I mentioned before, it's the government's money, it's never yours. And well, control and power basically the same, and the value control. So they control the value of the money. So in this case, like I mentioned before, if the government start printing money, and you're thinking, well, I have a pretty good amount in my bank, your money will start the money will start losing its power. So the things that you can buy will be less and less, and when you want to realize, you're going to be dumb in this case. So that is why it's very important to have all this kind of knowledge, so that way you can try to protect your effort. Because when you go to work and you get paid, and if you keep that money and you don't use it to invest in something or something like that, the money will start losing its value all the time. So that is one of the pros and cons. Or maybe the government is doing this kind of thing surely purposely. If you read a few books that I've read about bubbles and other things, and the government usually use this kind of strategies to keep everything going, and everyone is in debt, so that way the economy keeps moving and moving. But it will be bad at the end, because there will be so much debt and the money will be worthless. Everything will be very bad. So if you want to learn about this kind of book, I'll try to leave it in the video description. So they are very good. So I bought 2 books about bubbles, and that is great. And other thing about fiat currency, because like I mentioned before, it is not backed by money or anything like that. Usually this is the graph with the I mean, not with gold, but with the fiat currency. You will see that the money over time is going up and down in this trend, in downhills. And with the cryptocurrency, usually it goes uphill. So in this case, it may say in the beginning, for instance, with Bitcoin, in the beginning it was maybe 10 cents, and then maybe later on it was $5, and people would say, hey, it's a bubble, it's a Ponzi scheme or something like that. And then it goes down maybe to 50 cents again, and then the next time $5, and then maybe, or $10, let's say $10, and then go 5, and then 20, and then 10, and then like that. But the trend is that it's going up all the time. If you search for yourself any chart since the beginning of the creation of the cryptocurrency, in this case Bitcoin, you will see that in the beginning it was 10 cents, 20 cents, very little, and then now we have the peak of 20,000, and maybe surely in the future will be worth more or not, but usually is going up, and because there is a limited amount. When more people have their hands on these kind of things, the value will rise and rise all the time. If you compare it, like I mentioned before, with the fiat currency, where the government start printing more and more, there is no control about that. That is when one loses the value. So that is one of the strategies that in this book says, that I was mentioned before about the bubble and all the things, that if you keep investing your money and all those things, is one way to protect your assets and the money that you have and all those things, so that way it will not lose its value. So I hope this small video was useful, and now at least now you will know a little bit more about cryptocurrency and how you compare it against gold and everything else. And as usual, click the little bell if you want to know, if you want to be notified every time I upload a video. YouTube will let you know, maybe with a ring on your phone, or maybe with an email. Thank you for everything, and see you next class. Bye.